Let's look at how triangles are examined in our living cert. So this question 10, it was about Chloe and her bicycle, but this part has nothing to do with the all previous part. The vertical height of the building is h meters, as we can see it here. The base of the building is at point O. And A and B are the two other points, A and B. And then O, A, B are all on the horizontal ground. So you can understand this all on the ground. From A, the angle of elevation to the top of the building is 45. And here they are making sure that we understand. That is the angle from O to A to the top of the building. So that's my 45. As a result, OA is equal h meters. How come they are saying that? Now let me explain here. Because this angle is 90, isn't it? It's the right angle because it's a horizontal ground and vertical height. Yeah, horizontal, vertical, they create 90 degrees. If that is 90, from 180 minus 90, because all angle in triangle add up to 180, I am left with 90. So these two angles are 90. So if this is 45, that means that this angle is 45. What does that make? In what case do I have two angles that are the same? Isosceles triangle. So that means that this length and this length, meaning here, is the same. So in this case, h. That's the reason why they are saying that as a result, they are the same length. Okay, from B, the angle of elevation to the top of the building is 30. So this angle here is 30. And therefore, we have to write OB in terms of h. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw that triangle again, right angle, so that we can see that's my B, that's my O, that's my top of the building, that is h, that is 30. What am I looking for that? Well, how do we solve that? Everything to do with triangle on our page 16 in our maths table, this is what? Right angle triangle. And when it comes to right angle triangle, we have two options there. We have Pythagoras at the very bottom, and then we have the trigonometric ratio, sin, cos, and tan. When it comes to Pythagoras, that formula involves what from the triangle? One side A, second side B, third side C. When it comes to trigonometric ratio, it doesn't matter which of them we're going to pick. All of them have to do with the angle, isn't it? And not 90 degrees and another angle. And then we have what? Let's say side A, side C, or side B and side C. So the two sides. Okay, so we are looking for a side. So we are saying question mark, don't have a side, need to find it. What information do we have? We have h, and that is a side. So I have that, I have that. And then we have 30, which is what? An angle. So I have that. I can see here that Pythagoras, not enough information. I know it's going to be trigonometric ratio, but which one? Sin, cos, or tan. How do we know? Well, we put letters from the triangle in our table. So let's just open. Oops, page 16. These letters to our own triangle. How do we do that? Right angle, side opposite, it's always C. Then you have your reference angle, that's your capital A, and the side opposite, that is small a. That means that the remaining side is B. Now, let's get our ratios. I'm just going to copy them from the table and bring them in here. So which one am I choosing? Well, I need B. So I need the formula that has B, that has B. So this formula doesn't have B, no point of me using it, don't have letter B. Then I have small a, that's the one I have, and then I have capital A. So you can see that in order for me to use cos, I need C, don't have it, but there it is, tan, that's my formula to use. So that means is a tan. What's the angle I have? 30 equal fraction A on top, which is what? In this case, H. And then B, what's B? That's my BO length. Yeah? Now, I want BO equal. How do I bring that BO from under the fraction? I can either multiply both sides by BO and then divide by tan. So what do I mean? I can do this, multiply by BO, and therefore multiply by BO. And then in the next stage, when I have the BO tan 30 equal H, then I divide both sides by tan 30. So we can do it that way, but I want to show you when you have this type of situation of fraction equal a number, what we can do. Don't forget, if I have 6 and I divide that 6 by 2, that's equal 3, isn't it? And then if I have 6 and I divide 6 by 3, then it is 2. So you can observe that those values can change. So if we kind of remember that principle straight away, we can change those values saying that BO is equal H divided by tan of 30. And obviously we have to give it in terms of H. Tan of 30 has, it's a number, isn't it? If we put that in the calculator, what number do we get? We get square root of 3 over 3, and that can be a little bit challenging. But even if we get that, so how am I supposed to make that expression? Let's just move for a minute that part a little bit lower. So I have H divided by square root of 3 over 3. So that means what? H is multiplied by 3 over square root of 3, isn't it? So that means that BO is equal H3 over square root of 3. Yeah, so that's what it means. Now, if we didn't use calculator, if we went to our table and we got a tan, because I know some of you do that, which is all good and fine, there is nothing wrong with that. So tan of 30 is 1 over square root of 3. So I have H divided by 1 over square root of 3, isn't it? So again, H multiplied by square root of 3 over 1. So that means I am left with H square root of 3. Now, and somebody say, how come they are the same thing? Well, they're not really, because we don't leave a third in the denominator. We multiply by that denominator. So on top of the fraction, I have 3 square root of 3. At the bottom, those two multiply will be 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, H square root of 3. So whichever way we go, we will always end up in the same place. Okay, now let's have a look at that second part. So distance AB is 120, and then angle AOB is 60. Let's see, where is our, let's get that triangle. So again, the distance AB, so this one here, is 120, and angle AOB, this one inside here. So now we are moving on to the ground. This is the triangle. Given this information, use the triangle ABO, so that's on the ground, to work out the value of H. And that's where it is. So again, I'm just going to draw it out a little bit bigger here. That we can see that's A, O, and B. This side is 120. This side here is H, and we just have expression for it, H square root of 3. And I'm looking for, oh yeah, and this is 60. So I need to find the value of H. If I want to tell them H equal a specific number, isn't it? I need to have an equation that has two sides, and somewhere in that equation I have letter H. Again, how do we deal with the triangle in the question? Page 16 in our maths table. Now here, this is a triangle, what? Not a right angle triangle. And when we have not a right angle triangle, where is our page 16, we go to the top of the table here. And here our two options is sine rule or cosine rule. So again, we are saying to ourselves to consider, we are saying we have sine rule, we have cosine rule. And sine rule, when we are using it, what do I need in order to use it? I need two angles, two sides, and cosine rule, one angle, and then three sides. So what am I looking for? I am looking for H. H is one of the sides, isn't it? So I'm saying I'm looking for side. What information I have? 120. That is a side. Have it tick, have it tick. Then I have another side, H square root of 3. So tick. And then I have an angle. So I have that, I have that. As you can see it For sine rule, I'm missing one more angle, not enough information, so you can see it's the cosine rule that we're going to use. Now, cosine rule, we understand that is the formula. If we write it down, we make sure you get into a good habit of writing the formula when you are solving the question. Make sure you write that in your leaving cert. So how do I know what are those letters here? Well, again, we start with a reference angle. So that's the only angle given to us, therefore that becomes capital A. The side that is opposite is small a. But now which one is B, which one is C? For the cosine rule, it doesn't matter. Why? Because I'm adding them here and here I am multiplying. So let's say this side is B and this side is C. So now I can write an equation replacing those letters with the values from my example. So A is what? 120. 120 to the power of 2 equal B. B said with h to the power of 2 plus C. C is h square root of 3 to the power of 2 minus 2 multiply again B, which is h, multiply by C, which is h square root of 3. Actually, let's write the multiplication sign there. I like writing multiplication sign because it becomes more clear what can I multiply. And cos and the angle is 60. Now we know that angle of 60, that will be a number, isn't it? So where am I going with my calculation here? I want to find the value of h. So now look at that. Let me write it again. I have h to the power of 2. What will happen here? That h is taken to the power of 2 and square root of 3 is taken to the power of 2. Where did that came from? So that means we have square root of 3 to the power of 2. That's actually going to be 3. And then I have h2. And here, number multiplied by number, multiplied by number. But here, h multiplied by h will be h to the power of 2, isn't it? So I will have minus 2 square root of 3 multiplied by cos of 60, whatever that value is. And then I'm going to have h2. So look at that. h2, h2, h2. Together, how many of those h2s do I have here? I have 1 here, I have 3 here, so I have 4. And then I have this number, minus 2 square root of 3 cos of 60. Yes, you can put that in the calculator to find the number, but that is the number that will be standing beside h to the power of 2, isn't it? And then the next thing that we need to do is what? Well, I need h on its own, not h multiplied by some number. So to eliminate multiplication, what do? We divide, and we divide both sides of the equation. Cos 60, that goes. So we are left with 120 to the power of 2 for minus square root of 3 cos 60. And then on the other side, I have h to the power of 2. How do I eliminate power of 2? We take a square root of the other side. Oops, here what happened to our numbers. Here again, 120 to the power of 2 divided for minus square root of 3. Oh, I missed. What did I miss? 2, isn't it? I knew I missed something. 2 square root of 3 cos 60, and that is h. And look at that. We move all the numbers to the other side of the equation, and now we just have h on one side. And then we put that all in our calculator, press equal, and we get 79.7 to 1 decimal place. That's the value of h. So when you have a question, just to summarize it, when you have a question, you see a triangle, shape of triangle, what do you think about? Page 16 in your maths table.